Before we begin this teaching, I would like to give a shout out to my new YAH only brother, Eric. Without him, this understanding would not have been possible. But it's all in YAH's timing, and that's why YAH is gathering us together in these times that we are in. I would also like to dedicate this video to my dear daughter, Brooke. She has been put through the fire and refined and given eyes to see and shown things in the spirit realm that we couldn't understand until now. I love you, Brooke. So today, what I'm about to reveal will be very shocking, but you are going to find out what was really going on at Mount Sinai and the golden calf. But to understand this, we need to go back to the flood. So let's begin in Genesis 6, verse 12. And Elohim looked up upon the earth, and behold, it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted his way upon the earth. This is why Noah was told to bring animals that were male and female by kind, to preserve pure kinds, not genetically modified ones. And Yah said, I will wipe away man, whom I have created from the face of the ground, man and beast, and creeping thing, and birds of the sky, for I regret that I have made them. And the word for wipe away in Hebrew is emchaha, and it's from the root machaha, meaning to blot out, erase, or utterly remove, as in a bloodline. Yah isn't just cleansing the earth's surface, he is resetting the whole creation. The defilement wasn't just humans, it was everything living. Yah's original design had been hijacked. But where can we find in Yah's Torah where some of his people had been altered? And we find that in Genesis 10, verse 6 through 8. And the sons of Ham. And then it reads through the sons of Ham. And then it gets all the way down to the end and it says, and Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. So in Hebrew, mighty one is pronounced Gibor. And that same word is to describe the Nephilim hybrids. And we read about this corrupt mixing in Genesis 6, verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of Elohim came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. Now let's fast forward to Exodus, where the children of Israel are slaves in Egypt, and they're about to be freed. And we read this in Exodus 12, verse 7 and 12 through 13. And they shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and on the lintel of the houses where they eat it. And I shall pass through the land of Egypt on that night, and shall smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And on all the mighty ones of Egypt I shall execute judgment. I am Yah, and the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. So let's take a look at something about the blood in this a little bit closer. And the blood shall be a sign for you. This is not a sign for forgiveness of sins. This is a sign that you followed the instructions that Yah gave Moses. At this very moment, unknowingly, the children of Israel kept Torah, because Torah is Yah's instructions. And when Yah sees that the children of Israel followed the instructions, he did not allow the plagues to come and destroy them. This is a foreshadow of what they are to receive, which is the Torah, his instructions, on Mount Sinai, and about what will happen to their blood as a sign when they accept and agree to this covenant. We're going to fast forward to the Exodus, where the people are gathered at the base of the mountain, and Moses goes up to the mountain to speak with Yah in the cloud. Exodus 12, verse 37 through 38. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Sukkoth, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children, and a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. So let's look at this word for mixed multitude. And in the Hebrew, that's erev rav. And erev means mixture or mingling, and rav means great or many. This term refers to the blended group of people from various nations who left Egypt with the Hebrews. They were not all blood descendants of Jacob, and many were genetically mixed hybrids or corrupt seed. Exodus 32, verse 1. When the people saw that Moshe delayed to come down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, "Get up, make for us mighty ones, Elohim, who will go before us. As for this Moshe, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him." Exodus 32, verses 2 through 4. And Aaron said to them, "Take off the golden earrings that are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters, and bring them to me." So all the people took off the golden earrings that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. He received the gold from their hand, shaped it with an engraving tool, and made a molten calf. Then they said, "These are your mighty ones, Elohim, O Israel, who brought you up out of the land of Egypt." So there's so much that just happened here that we need to really look closely at. And we're going to start with the engraving tool, which is in Hebrew pronounced sharet. And the root meaning of this word is a stylus, graving tool, engraving pen, inscriber. And it's used for carving or etching metal, stone, or symbols. It comes from the root charet, which is to inscribe, mark, scratch, cut into. So now let's look at the words in Hebrew for molten calf. And the Hebrew words are pronounced agel, Masecha. So the word agel means calf or young bull, but from the root agal, meaning to revolve, circle, or roll, like a rotating or circular motion like a wheel or a disc. And this makes me think of a data disk or energy loop or a rotating digital memory. Maskaha means a molten image, but also a web, a covering, a veil, and even interwoven or networked. Let that sink in. Now let's pay close attention that the words say, "Then they said, 'These are your mighty ones, O Israel, who brought you up from out of the land of Egypt.'" So Aaron and the mixed multitude. Normally in Scripture, when it's referring to the children of Israel, they'll say the children of Israel. But this time it said the people, and the people, the corrupt mixed multitude that left with the Hebrew Israelites just to escape the plagues of Egypt. So Aaron, who was a high priest, and the pagan hybrid mixed multitude, they knew how to recreate the golden calf because they were familiar with the Egyptian idolatry where the bull god, like Apis, represented power and authority. This idol was not just a statue, but a form of ancient technology crafted from gold, a perfect conductor, and molten metal shaped with an engraving tool, a charet, a stylus used to inscribe and activate spiritual circuits. The fallen angels, which are Nephilim, taught metalworking and engraving, which is the foundation of technology or sorcery. The golden calf functioned like a primitive computer powered by witchcraft, blood rituals, and fire, similar to electricity, which all connected to a spiritual cloud. This made it a counterfeit of Yah's true cloud of presence, deceiving the people into worshiping a man-made system instead of the living Elohim. And this pagan bull technology didn't connect to Yah's dark cloud that hovered over Mount Sinai. This pagan idol computer connected to the dark web instead. And the people, along with Aaron the priest, try to deceive the children of Israel to make them think that this golden calf, this computer, was the one that brought them out of Egypt, not Yah. Exodus 32, verses 5 through 6. When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before the calf. Then Aaron made a proclamation saying, "Tomorrow shall be a feast to Yah." So the people rose early the next day, offered burnt offerings, and brought peace offerings. Then the people sat down to eat and drink and got up to play. Wait a minute, did you catch that? Aaron used Yah's true name, even though he was clearly leading the people into idolatry with the calf. This reveals the deception. They were invoking Yah's name over a counterfeit, mixing truth and error, just like much of modern religion and pastors and priests do today. They call Jesus the Son of God, having you worship him as God. And they claim and call a feast of Yah, this Nephilim technology, they're calling it a feast day of Yah, just like in Christianity when they say now we're worshiping this pagan idol and Yah and calling it Christmas and Easter and making us eat his flesh and drink his blood. Now let's look at the next part after the offerings. Then the people sat down to eat and drink and got up to play. So what does that mean, got up to play? And in the Hebrew, that is pronounced vayakumu lashuk, literally to rise up to play. But the Hebrew word lashuk can also mean to dance, to rejoice, or to engage in wild, sometimes immoral behavior. This playing is often linked to pagan rituals and witchcraft. And this was a direct rebellion against Yah's holiness and a step into spiritual deception. They were replacing Yah's presence and voice in the cloud with this molten calf technology. Doesn't this sound familiar? Did you know when they created CERN, the Large Hadron Collider, they did a ritual dance just like at the mountain? And what about Siri and Alexa? Let's look deeper at these names. So CERN, the European Organization for Nuclear Research, known for its Large Hadron Collider, and the God particle, which was discovered at CERN in 2012. The name CERN is an acronym, but sounds like Cernunnos, a Celtic horned god of fertility and the underworld, an idol of ancient pagan worship. And CERN is a giant circular structure located underground. Just as the golden calf was using metal and fire, CERN is using gold, metals, magnetism, and fire, which is plasma energy. And so what is the meaning of Siri? That word is very similar to Sirius, which is the brightest star in the night sky, also known as the dog star. In many ancient cultures, Sirius was worshipped as a powerful celestial deity connected to the spiritual forces, secret knowledge, and occult symbolism. And Alexa, derived from Alexander, meaning defender of men or helper of mankind, could also stand for Alexandria, a city rich in paganism. It was home to the famous Library of Alexandria, a vast storehouse of worldly knowledge, including many esoteric and forbidden teachings. So now that we have a better understanding of what they had created and were trying to do with this golden calf technology, let's go back to Exodus to see what happens when Moshe returns. And we find that in Exodus 32, 19 through 28. And it came to pass, as soon as Moshe came near the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, his anger waxed hot, and he cast the tablets out of his hand and broke them beneath the mountain. And he took the calf which they had made and burned it with fire and ground it into powder and scattered it upon the water and made the children of Israel drink of it. And Moshe said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you that you have brought so great a sin upon them?" And Aaron said, "Do not let the anger of my master burn hot. You know the people, that they are set on evil." Exodus 32, verses 19 through 28. "For they said to me, 'Make us a mighty ones, Elohim, to go before us. For this Moshe, the man who brought us up out of the land of Egypt, we did not know what has become of him.' And I said to them, 'Whoever has gold, take it off.' So they gave it to me, and I threw it into the fire, and this calf came out. When Moshe saw that the people were broken down, for Aaron had made them naked unto their shame among their enemies. Exodus 32, verses 19 through 28. Moshe stood in the gate of the camp and said, "Who is on Yah's side? Let him come to me." And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves to him. And he said to them, "Thus says Yah Elohim of Israel, put every man his sword in his side, and go in and out from the gate to gate throughout the camp, and kill every man his brother, his friend, his neighbor." Now let's go back and examine something that happened here when Moshe came down from the mountain. He made the children of Israel drink the powder that was crushed in the fire that was that of the technology of the golden calf. Moshe mixed it with water and made the children of Israel drink it. Moshe had just left the dark cloud and the presence of Yah, who explained to him the Torah. And so Moshe knew to make the children drink their golden idol calf. And we find out why in Numbers 5, verses 15 through 16. "The priest shall bring her near and have her stand before Yah. Then the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel and take some dust from the tabernacle floor and put it into water." Numbers 5, verses 23 through 24. "And if she has defiled herself and been unfaithful to her husband, the water shall cause her to become a curse among her people, and cause her body to swell and her thigh to rot, and the woman shall be a curse. But if the woman is innocent and has not defiled herself, she shall be free and able to conceive children." When Moses made the children of Israel drink this bitter water, he was obeying Torah to find out if the children of Israel had gone astray and worshipped another god, being unfaithful to Yah, like an unfaithful wife, since they had already agreed to the covenant. But this wasn't just a test. It was a transformation. In Hebrew thought, what you take into your body isn't only physical, it's spiritual. The golden calf wasn't just a statue, it was an interface, a counterfeit vessel, charged with intent, instructions, and a twisted counterfeit of Torah. When they drank it, they ingested corrupted code, and in a sense, it altered their operating system or DNA. When they drank it, it bound them to a false Torah, reprogramming their hearts towards idolatry unless they repented and returned to Yah. Those who stood with Yah, who refused to be written by the golden calf technology, who repented or who had never bowed, those were the ones who were preserved. They were the remnant within the camp that still carried the uncorrupted bloodline, the line through which Yah would continue his covenant. And Yah always preserves a remnant, not just spiritually, but physically, with blood that has not been defiled by strange fire, foreign gods, or fallen technology. And we read this in Jeremiah 50, verse 20. "In those days and at that time, declares Yah, a search will be made for Israel's guilt and for Judah's sins, but there will be none, for I will pardon the remnant I preserve." There is something special about that covenant blood. So to figure out the answer to that, we need to go to Leviticus 17, verse 11. "For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make atonement for your beings. For it is the blood that makes atonement for the life." So it's clear that we see the life is in the blood. So what is life according to the Old Testament? Deuteronomy 30, verses 15 through 16. "See, I have set before you today life and good, and death and evil. In that I command you today to love Yah your Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to guard his commands and his laws and his right rulings. Then you shall live and increase, and Yah your Elohim shall bless you." Deuteronomy 30, verses 19 through 20. "I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Therefore, choose life so that you live, both you and your seed, to love Yah your Elohim, to obey his voice, which is his Torah, and to cling to him, for he is your life and the length of your days. The blood on the altar wasn't meant for animal sacrifice or a pagan deity that would shed his blood on the cross for your sins. At Mount Sinai, when we entered a covenant with Yah, it literally changed our blood from the nations. And the blood of the remnant is literally Yah and his Torah, the instructions or the code written and flowing through our veins. The altar represents coming near Yah's presence, repenting with the calves of your lips, and submitting to his instructions that flow through your veins to this very day. That's why he says in Malachi 3 verse 7, "From the days of your fathers you have turned aside from my statutes and have not guarded them. Return to me, and I shall return to you, said Yah of hosts. But you said, in what shall we return? You become a living sacrifice when you come before Yah and lay down your will and earthly desires to do Yah's will, his Torah, his instructions. Your very covenant blood cries out to Yah alone. The remnant's blood holds the memory, the lineage, the inheritance of Yah's chosen people. No matter how hard they use pharmakia or spray the skies with poison or contaminate the water, use witchcraft or try to merge us with technology, covenant blood aligned with Yah has power. And Yah's presence within us preserves that blood from being overwritten with corrupt instructions and protects us from plagues of the nations. Isaiah 1:19. Except Yah of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. Brothers and sisters, they are now in our time recreating the golden calf again, not of metal alone, but of machine, code, and spirit. The world bows to their creation, AI, tech, pharmakia, and false light. Just as the mixed multitude once said, "This is your Elohim," so now the nations proclaim salvation from the works of their own hands. But Yah is calling his remnant to stand apart, to return to his Torah, to refuse the mixture, and to choose this day whom they will serve. The line is being drawn in the camp again. The fire is coming. The question is not whether you will escape, but whether you will stand with Yah alone. Isaiah 54, verse 17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall prove wrong. This is the inheritance of the servants of Yah, and their righteousness is from me, declares Yah.